Apple may be getting ready to launch the iPhone 17e as early as this month, and if the latest reports are accurate, this new model could bring a few meaningful upgrades, even if it doesn't completely reinvent the design. While Apple hasn't officially confirmed anything yet, multiple sources suggest that the iPhone 17e is on the way, and it may arrive sooner than expected. So let's break down what we know so far, what's changing, what's staying the same, and why this device could matter more than it seems at first glance. First, let's talk about design. According to a report from MagSafe, the iPhone 17e will keep a design that closely resembles its predecessor. That means Apple isn't planning a dramatic visual overhaul this time around. The device is expected to retain the classic notch at the top of the display rather than switching to the dynamic island feature found on higher-end iPhone models. For some users, that may feel a little disappointing. The dynamic island has become one of the signature visual elements of modern iPhones, blending notifications and background activities into the display in a clever way. But the decision to keep the notch likely helps Apple maintain a more affordable price point for the 17e. In other words, this phone may not be about flashy design changes. It's about practical upgrades. Now let's move into hardware improvements, because this is where things start to get interesting. A report from Macworld suggests that the iPhone 17e will support MagSafe. That's a notable addition. MagSafe has become a core part of the iPhone ecosystem, allowing for magnetic accessories, snap-on chargers, wallets, battery packs, and more. Bringing MagSafe to the 17 lineup would make the device feel much more integrated into Apple's current accessory ecosystem. Even more interesting is the rumored wireless charging speed. The iPhone 17e is expected to support wireless charging at up to 25 watts. That's a solid improvement and could make everyday charging noticeably faster, especially for users who rely on wireless charging overnight or at their desks. Then there's the processor. MagSafe reports that the iPhone 17e will be powered by Apple's new A19 chipset. If that's true, it would give the device a serious performance boost. Apple's A series chips are already known for leading the industry in efficiency and power, so moving to the A19 would likely improve speed, graphics performance, and long-term software support. It would also mean better energy efficiency, which could translate into improved battery life, even if the battery capacity itself doesn't change dramatically. Another important upgrade could come in the form of connectivity. The iPhone 17e is rumored to include Apple's second-generation C1X modem, along with the N1 wireless network chip. While these aren't the kind of features that show up in flashy marketing slides, they matter a lot in real-world usage. A newer modem could improve cellular performance, signal stability, and power efficiency. Meanwhile, the N1 wireless chip could enhance Wi-Fi and Bluetooth performance, potentially offering faster connections and more reliable networking overall. These are the kinds of behind-the-scenes upgrades that don't always get attention, but can significantly improve daily user experience. That said, aside from these changes, most other specifications are expected to remain similar to the iPhone 16e. So if you are expecting a total redesign or a dramatic leap in features, this may not be that kind of update. Instead, the iPhone 17e appears to be more of a refinement, keeping the familiar design while upgrading internal components and connectivity features. Now, there's another interesting angle to this entire situation. While Apple is preparing incremental upgrades like the iPhone 17e, reports suggest the company is quietly exploring a completely new direction, a foldable iPhone. Details are still limited, but the idea of a foldable iPhone has been circulating in rumors for years. If Apple is truly developing one, it would represent a major shift in design philosophy. Foldable devices have been gaining traction in the Android world, and Apple tends to wait until technology matures before entering a category. So while the 17e may look familiar, Apple's long-term roadmap could be much more ambitious. Now let's briefly shift to another related report. This one about the iPad. According to recent information, the upcoming iPad the 12th may use the A18 chip instead of the A19 processor that earlier rumors had suggested. That's an interesting change. If true, it could signal that Apple is reserving the A19 chip primarily for certain iPhone models, while keeping the iPad lineup slightly behind in processor generation. At least for now. That doesn't necessarily mean the iPad 12 will be underpowered. The A18 chip would still deliver strong performance for everyday tasks, creative workflows, and even gaming. But it does suggest Apple is being strategic about how it distributes its latest silicon across product categories. Looking at the bigger picture, what we're seeing here is Apple continuing its pattern of controlled evolution rather than radical yearly transformation. The iPhone 17e doesn't appear to be a revolutionary device. It won't introduce Dynamic Island, it likely won't drastically change the display, and it may look very similar to last year's model. But internally, it could be smarter, faster, and more efficient. MagSafe support, faster wireless charging, a new A19 chip, upgraded modem technology. Those are meaningful improvements for long-term usability. And if Apple keeps the price competitive, the 17e could become a very attractive option for users who want modern performance without paying flagship-level prices. Meanwhile, the possibility of a foldable iPhone hints that Apple may be preparing something much bigger behind the scenes, even if we won't see it just yet. So, as we wait for official confirmation, one thing is clear. Apple's strategy appears to be balancing stability with innovation. Incremental upgrades for today. Bigger experiments for tomorrow. And if the iPhone 17e does launch this month, we won't have to wait long to see how it fits into Apple's broader lineup. Stay tuned, because Apple rarely moves without a long-term